You've written that you were interested in stand-up comedy. So, watching or performing?
I have watched as well, and I have performed 2 live stand-up comedy.
Okay, can we get a quick joke from you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Tanvi,
Yes, ma'am.
you are head of marketing, communication and content. What do you do there?
Actually, my job is to assist the interns working over there about content writing and teach them the basics of a tidbit of marketing, what I know from my experience.
So what do you know about marketing?
Marketing is all about people. There and then from marketing's M to marketing's G, it's all about people. How you handle them, how you convince them, and how you have the power to persuade them to buy or to sell whatever you want to sell. So yeah.
So is it not about selling, and what is the difference then? Is it about selling or is it about people?
It's about both. How you sell your product, how you procure your good, how you market that good, and how effectively you have the skills to showcase your product.
Okay. So have you heard of Coke?
The Coca, yeah.
Yeah, Coca-Cola?
Yes,
Okay. So there was a very recent controversy about Coca-Cola that happened.
yes.
What was that all about?
Famous footballer, Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo, while in a press conference, he was sitting attending the questions addressed, and all of a sudden he just raised his hand, moved the cans of Coca-Cola, and advised or showcased in front of the camera that you should drink water. He wanted to show that maybe that contains soda or that contains caffeine. You should be more healthy and like stick to water, natural source.
So do you really think water is better than Coke?
Yes, we can live without Coke, but we can't live without water.
Okay. So why is it that Cristiano Ronaldo at the beginning of his career be the brand ambassador or work with Coke, and now he's saying that he will not work with Coke?
Maybe he
Because
got.
then he needed Coke, is that so?
I don't know that, the specific point you mentioned prior when he was the brand ambassador, but my take on that is maybe he was short of knowledge about that time about Coke, maybe.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a very interesting take. Okay. So I think he grew in stature and also grew in intelligence.
Yes, like, yeah, it can be the case because no one is all knowledgeable except I think God.
Okay. All right. So Tanvi, you're doing a lot of work on content writing and all of this. How did you get into all of this?
Naturally.
Okay.
It comes to me naturally, no efforts required.
So then why do you want to do MBA? Why not continue with, content writing? It's a brand new field and there's so much to be explored in it. Why don't you follow that? Why are you looking at an MBA?
I feel I have a greater penchant for MBA rather than content writing.
How do you know that?
Last year, when we had lockdown due to the coronavirus, I had full 8 months only devoted to myself, my personal growth, my self-well-being and everything. Following that a particular routine, I realized what my points, where I was weak, where I was strong. I Googled everything like anything, gathered the knowledge, gathered the courage, and got onto the conclusion that MBA is my field, is my avocation, is my calling, rather than content writing.
Okay, so you're going to quit content writing?
No, not at all. I am a person who believes that you should have a career, you should have a goal, a perfect predetermined goal, but you should not be dependent on one thing for your survival.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Tanvi. Tanvi, you are an established writer in national newspaper, Economic Times. Can you talk about Nifty?
Nifty today, today's price of Nifty was approximately 29,000. Approximately 29,000, and it's an increase. Today is a boom in the market, and yesterday it was a fall, a bane, but today is a boom.
How is Nifty different from BSE?
Pardon, please.
How is Nifty different from BSE?
I am short of knowledge about it. I'm so sorry.
Okay. What are your plans after MBA?
Okay. I plan, after doing my MBA, I plan to work, do job, or I'm not so sure, but what I have in mind is I'll do job for some time, for some years, build, save, explore, learn, and evolve as a person, gain the market strategies, gain everything, plan accordingly and everything. And after that, if my will stands with me, if my universe is with me, I'll definitely go into marketing or enhance, or I'll grow my own business.
So you're interested in marketing, right?
Yes.
Okay. How will you convert a people into your client, into client of your company? A normal person who is currently not your client, how will you convert that into your client?
I think the best marketing strategy that a person can be convinced or persuaded is mouth advertising. Nothing can be better than that. Obviously, we have social media, everything, but if a client is physically present, we have to give a presentation, we have to address the client personally, or someone has to address them. We can do a very nice guerrilla marketing, because it's very effective, it sticks, it's very creative, it's very unique in its own way, and there are high chances, high stakes that the client can get convinced if you have the honesty in your product.
You mentioned leadership skills, right?
Yes.
Give me a situation where you have acted as a leader.
Okay, from my school time, I have been all through active. Whatever may, in every sport, in every internal assessment, in every internal activity, I was like, okay ma'am, I'm ready, I'm all about to give in. Even if I lose, I don't mind it, but I have to do it. So following that journey, I realized that I have the capabilities to direct, to not to instruct, but to guide as a leader, not as a manager, because leader has the power to take the whole teamwork or teammates into one direction, and he or she focuses on the long-term perspective rather than achieving the short-term.
That's great. How do you say thank you in French? You mentioned that you know the French language.
Thank you in French. Merci.
Okay, merci.
Yeah.
Merci.
I guess most of the questions have been covered, but I'll try and ask you a few things very quickly.
Sure.
Do you know anything about surrogate advertising?
Surrogate advertising? No, I haven't heard about that term.
All right. You've written that you were interested in stand-up comedy. So, watching or performing?
I have watched as well, and I have performed 2 live stand-up comedy.
Okay, can we get a quick joke from you?
Your enemies would say you excel, and they will spread shit about you. I think they made a PowerPoint.
All right. Okay, so you've written that you've been an established writer in national newspapers like ET, Free Press. What is your beat there? What sort of articles are you into?
Actually, all sorts of newspapers have their own genre, have their own form of following up, and not every newspaper takes the editorial according to what the writer has written. So, for specifically speaking for the Economic Times, they from the editorial page you have to read the prior day, and you have to send the editorial the next day. And the prior day, what one author or one editor has written, you have to read, you have to analyze, and write your own opinion or thoughts about it, and send it to that editor or that.
So you've been writing opinions in the editorials in these newspapers?
Yes, in Economic Times. In Free Press, I present my own views regarding the current affairs, regarding what's happening around the world, and that's all.
So do you think that it's possible to make good money out of writing?
For sustenance or for...
Yeah, because I'm sure you know that Indian parents do not encourage children to take up writing and music and sports as their primary careers. So, what is your point of view about writing? If I become a writer, can I make good money, or no? I should, do an MBA and then writing is just another thing on my plate.
I think it depends upon the person's perspective. For me, if I get a strong desire from inside, a burning desire, I'm passionate about it, why not? I can and I should. Like,
Okay,
there are
so-
various authors and various leaders who are writers, who are authors, and not only they write but they convey. They have the power to convince people and everything. So writers are not mere writers. They are speakers and givers, and they implant things in their readers or audience in such a way that writers is a narrow term to describe. So I think,
which is fine. My point is that can you make good money only as a writer? Can you pursue it as your full-fledged career? And because these days everybody is writing, especially after the lockdown, everybody is trying to become a Gulzar or a Ghalib. So then how do you compete and how do you manage in a market where every teen just picks up the pen and starts writing dukhdas about broken hearts?
I think situation after the lockdown has changed dramatically. Being a writer, maybe in the corona times in our locked homes, has gained, has increased. Number of people has increased writing, and I think only career as a writing can be effective if, again,
Okay.
as I earlier mentioned, that if the person has ardent desire towards it.
All right. You've written that you worked as a chief evangelist.
Yes.
What does the term evangelist mean?
It means manager,
The
brand
term-
manager. Chief evangelist means brand manager.
Okay. Do you
Keep
have
in
any
mind.
idea that this word comes from a religion? And which religion is it?
I'd like to make a guess. I'm not so sure. Can I make a guess?
You can.
Is it from Christianity?
Yeah. So what does it mean there? It is definitely not a manager then.
Yeah. In Christianity point of view. I don't know.
Okay, no problem. I think it was good. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question, my last and final question. Give me 3 reasons why we should reject you.
Maybe I'm hypersensitive. Like, I get panic really quickly. I can calm myself, but I get panic a bit.
So are you panicking right now?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not panicking right now. Yeah, number one. And number two, you may find me short of things you are looking for. That's why. And number three, I'm sorry, I can't think of it right
But you've
now.
already said that we found you short of things that we are looking for. So then should we consider you saying that you've been rejected in this interview?
No, I don't think. From my side, I think I've given my best. Like, I have tried to be at most sincere and spontaneous as I can be. Nothing fakeness, nothing. And I'm like,
What is that one quality that a B school is looking for? Quickly tell us that and then we'll end this interview.
leadership.
All right, thank you. You may leave.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day.
Okay guys, so this feedback is for Tanvi Jain. She is a candidate from Ujjain and done her BCom honors and is also working with certain newspapers and all. While we were interviewing Tanvi, one thing came across beautifully, and that was that she is very full of confidence. She stepped in, there was energy in the air. She stepped out, there was energy in her exit also. The way she sassed it up by asking us what we had for lunch, that was a very beautiful moment. And though it may not work for her in an actual interview because the panel might not be very happy with that, but yes, that just went a long way towards showing that she has a lot of confidence. And one of the essential ingredients of any B school interview is confidence. So if somebody is able to present that idea that yes, I have that confidence within me, that is something that she really was able to portray in her interview. She answered her questions more or less. I think she was able to answer most of her questions, though when I asked her about the Cristiano Ronaldo issue wherein he put away the Coke bottle and brought in the water bottle and all. So the ethics question, I think she was not very comfortable with, because she probably did not have an idea that he was a brand ambassador for Coke earlier. So that was something that you should be aware of. Whatever is going on in the present scenario in the past 1 year, that those affairs, those current affairs, you should be very updated with, especially things that have impacted your area of study. Now Tanvi came in and she said that she was planning to do marketing, and her entire CV is based on marketing. So then in that case, anything related to marketing is something that is very, very essential, that you have to have knowledge of that. Now if somebody suddenly, I asked her what was happening in the world of psychology and she did not know, that would be okay. But if she says that she is working in marketing and she's interested in that, then that knowledge has to be there. And this is not obscure knowledge. This is something that has been in the newspapers and was very well talked of, and it was quite the talk of the town at that point of time. So that was something that I felt that she needed to work on. Current affairs is something that I think mostly everybody needs to work on. Also, one thing that is very important, and that I don't know if you were able to understand, a lot of the interviews we asked questions based on ethics, and people did not know which way to answer. Some of them dilly-dallied, and somebody said, hey, you can do whatever you want to. But remember, in any ethical question, never take the side of the unethical action, despite whatever the cost is. So what you have to do is you have to stick to your ethics, and you have to be very correct on those lines. So that is something that everybody who's doing this, you should do. If you haven't seen some of our interviews, I think you should definitely check out Swarnika's interview. And there was another student who was we had quite a discussion on Gujarat and the prohibition of alcohol in Gujarat. So that is another one that you should, you check out all the interviews in this series. You will find some really interesting stuff there. So anyway, so ethics is something that you really need to be, very conscious about and pay attention to. Now, one thing about Tanvi, again, she shakes her head a lot. And that somehow is a little offensive in an interview, because remember, these interviews are going to be extremely formal. The panels are very, very formal. They do not entertain a lot of laughter and smiles and all of that. So therefore, you should also remain formal. Your body language should be formal. So therefore, shaking your head a lot and this and that, a slight movement of your hand is acceptable. And that way you cannot have a big movement. You can just limit it to your body, this much. That is adequate. Try not to shake your hands or anything. Don't shake your head too much. So that was something that I think she really needs to work on. That it was probably happening unconsciously, but that is something that she should pay attention to. Now, as someone who is writing in a newspaper, and especially a newspaper like Economic Times, she also needed to make sure that she knew what was BSE and what was Nifty all about, and what are the difference. So how many stocks does BSE have, how many does Nifty have, and all of that. So that was another thing. The entry thing I've already told you in some other feedbacks also. So entry again is something that everyone should remember. Make sure you enter, ask your permission, and then come in and wait for somebody to ask you to sit down. So all of that has to be taken care of. Also, while you're leaving, remember to say thanks to the panel. They've been very kind to listen to you for so much time. They've given you their precious time, and therefore you should always thank the panel for all of this. Also, another question that I asked her, and that we all of us found that to be very important, was the 3 reasons why we should reject you. Now that is this is essentially a trick question. So what you need to do is you need to turn around this question and make it into something which will say, hey, here is something that I feel is a problem, but the B school would view it as something positive. So this is a question that you have to be very careful of, and this was something that I think she missed out on. But overall, a great interview. I think she will make it to her dream B school. Thank you, guys.